Okay, so yesterday I posted a video and everybody really got upset about it. Like, I've been posting videos on this website for around 7 years, and I don't remember any time when I've gotten this many dislikes on a video or this bad of a like to dislike ratio before. So I kind of found it funny and I wanted to talk about why. Now, I'll be honest with you, I haven't gone through all the comments yet, but I have a feeling I can already tell what they're going to be based on this top comment right here made by Toku Nova Mad. I think his name's pretty accurate because he does in fact seem fairly mad. Now, I'd like to start out by saying that although my video was 100% serious, I can understand why some people would make the mistake of thinking it's satire. I did after all use angry emojis in the title after all, but rest assured my video is 100% real and definitely not biased in any way. Everything I said was an accurate depiction of what would happen and is actually true, and that leaves no room for debate, and this video is just here for me to confirm that there is in fact no room for debate anymore. So let's start at the bottom comment and work our way up. Starting out, we had Godzilla 154 who just stated the simple fact that Ben 10 is the real OG and that you shouldn't mess with him. And I responded by saying I have my boys back and I'm against the haters. Now obviously both of us are right. The responses are from people who are wrong. One of our main heroes, one of our main protagonists in the following anime arc will be Wantron Imbagok. You'll see his name a few times as he's very upset about what I had to say in my last video. He says, lol, Ultraman is older than a child with the watch, which I suppose is true, but I don't see how that has any relevance to anything at all. That literally is just said, like who cares? Someone else says, lol, use the internet dude and Google Ultraman, as if I haven't watched Ultraman, so I don't know what I'm supposed to Google. Someone else asks if I'm drunk, and the answer is no, I don't drink. Wanchan and Baku makes a return, saying, lol, try making Ultimate Waybig fight King or Legend. King or Legend are both Ultramen, but I'm not going to really care about that. We'll worry about the big important guy. Toku Nova Mad, who is in fact a Toku fan who is mad, responds saying, yeah bro, you're right. I bet King could just use his King Hammer to shrunk Waybig and throw it away in a black hole. Now this comment confuses me because how is he going to use his King Hammer to shrunk Waybig? I think he could use his King Hammer to shrink Waybig. I don't see him shrunking anything anytime soon. Also, he could throw it away in a black hole. I know that the it in this case refers to Waybig, but I think that comment could use a little more clarity, as it could be referring to almost anything. I think the term he was looking for was the word him. Had he used the word him, then it would have made a little more sense, but yeah. Now the reason we're gonna not worry about King or Legend is because who cares? Toku Nova Mad makes the very valid point right here. Ultraman Noah can destroy Waybig's Toku star only with a single arrow shot, which the only thing to take from this is that Ultraman Noah is in fact the strongest Ultra. This is stated multiple times on his wiki page. I can read. The thing that I find weird about this is that what's Waybig's Toku star? Like, why is it Waybig's? You're saying that Waybig has possession of something? Or did you just mistype and mean to say plural Waybigs? Because there aren't really plural Waybigs, there's plural Toku stars, but Waybig is one of a kind. So I don't quite understand the Waybig's Toku star part. Onchan returns, making the valid point that Ultraman is clearly better than this inspiration. Now Ultraman is inspiration, yes, but I don't think that comment makes any sense because you're saying he's better than this inspiration. I think you mean to say this character inspired by him? I understand what you're trying to say, but the clarity isn't there. Wantron continues his path of vengeance against the Ben 10 fandom, saying, lol, it's like saying, then he says nothing, and then he says, me sings a song. Friend, OMG, is that from TikTok? It's the same thing with the OMG, is that Waybig shit? Now this comment's kind of silly because he has too many colons in it, making it not really make much sense. And also, I don't really blame any children for getting confused when it comes to Ultraman and Waybig, because for the millionth time, Ultraman's quite irrelevant here in the United States, whereas Ben 10 was a cultural phenomenon when it aired, and it dominated children's television for many years, so it's completely understandable for children to not know who Ultraman is and to think that Waybig came first. Yes, with hindsight and with some background knowledge, it's a little silly, but it's not their fault. Spywriter says, I'm just crying because I found out that Ultraman is older than Waybig shit. He says to let me cry, which I agree, you should just let me cry. I definitely didn't know that Ultraman came first because I definitely didn't already review Ultraman on my channel. Wantron continues his path of destruction, saying, and clearly the Ben 10 fanbase is more childish than Ultraman fanbase since Ultraman is older than Waybig. This argument doesn't make any sense because Ultraman is geared towards children. Although there are probably some Ultraman fans who have been fans of Ultraman longer, that doesn't really mean anything because Ultraman's actively geared towards children, the same demographic that Ben 10 is geared towards, and people of all sorts can enjoy Ben 10. I know I do, and I'm not a child, and I know many people much older than me who also enjoy the series, so that really doesn't make any sense because both Ultraman and Ben 10 have universal appeal. In fact, all it seems to me is that from this comment, people like you are just children calling children children, despite the fact that you're also a child. Steve comes in here with some math saying that 22 million people worldwide are aware of Ben 10 compared to the 900 million viewers Ultraman has had since 1966. I don't see how either of those things matter with modern relevance. Just because something was popular doesn't mean it's still popular. Most children these days don't know Wizard of Oz, but they know the Avengers. Does that mean that the Avengers was always more popular than Wizard of Oz? No. It just means that the Avengers are more culturally relevant, especially in America at the moment. Muhammad comes in here with a comment that I don't understand. He says, I will send Bile wipe out Ben 10. It's got me pretty scared, I'm not gonna lie. Spyride says he literally said Waybig could wipe out any Ultraman. Ha 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 ha. Dude, this guy is a joke. He knows nothing about Ultraman. There's an Ultra that could reverse time, create black hole, survive worse than black hole, become even bigger, create copy of himself, move FTL, could traverse multiverse, immortal, have an attack hotter than the surface of the sun, Noah infernal, have an attack that could destroy anything, light of legend. So like, yeah, he makes some good points there. Noah is a formidable foe. Stick around till the end of the video till I tell you why that's irrelevant. Someone says Ultraman is better than Waybig, which is just a fucking lie. And then he goes on to say, but we all agree Alien X is better than Noah, even with King, and that's absolutely true. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if Waybig couldn't take on every Ultra. Like, let's just say, for instance, that Noah could win in a fight. That doesn't really matter because even if he beats Waybig, Ben will just transform into Alien X and blink and Noah will no longer be in existence. Noah wouldn't even have time to escape his universe into a different universe using his little multiversal traversal thing that you were talking about. It wouldn't really matter because Alien X can act instantaneously. Alien X has also been seen powerful enough to create and destroy entire universes on his own without much effort at all. So yeah, pretty much what I'm saying here is that Ben 10's better than every character ever, and so you should just stop worrying about it. Danny asks if I even hear myself. He says that Ultraman definitely way better than Waybig. They're Ultraman that definitely destroy world and create in. Now Danny makes a very compelling argument here because their Ultraman that definitely destroy world and create in is something that I absolutely cannot argue against. But to answer his first question, yes, I do hear myself. I do have to edit these videos. Someone asks, who tough watch Ben 10? Ultraman since 1966 and this new copycat asshole copied it. It's not so much of a copy as it is just being in love with Ultraman and wanting to pay respect to that in a modern way. But also to answer your question, like every person who's cool watches Ben 10. Someone actually got a comment accurate for once. It seems to be one of the few shining stars in a pit of troglodytes saying the Virgin Ultraman versus the Chad Waybig, and that's definitely true. Someone tries to counter me saying, nah, you said don't mess with Ben 10 fans, but we said don't mess with Ultraman fans, but I already did mess with the Ultraman fans, so it's too late. Childish Landino here just likes to sing. Toku Nova Mad really lives up to his name here at the end, typing out a full paragraph. I'm not even sure if it's worth reading. I haven't really looked into any of this yet, but I guess considering we went through every other comment, we can go through this. He says, dude, seriously, Waybig aren't even strongest alien in Ben 10, which is exactly goddamn right, meaning that Ben has an alien more powerful than Waybig, meaning at the very least, absolutely Ben could defeat every Ultra that comes his way. Even if Waybig himself couldn't do it, Alien X could just... them out of existence. I'm a Ben 10 fan too, and I don't make foolish comparisons of those heroes since Ben 10 is a cartoon and Ultraman was a live action series. Oh my god, that comment. He makes a really good point here, because Ben 10's a cartoon. He would never be able to go up against a live action character because everyone knows that Ultraman's actually a documentary and that they're not special effects. It's actually them shooting something in a city. But I would counter to that with the argument that cartoons are probably stronger than live action heroes because they can go through more different categories, bro, and you're the childish one for comparing these two series. Spoken like a true adult who was able to take a joke. And FYI, Ultraman have the most powerful god, and the name is Ultraman Noah. He is the strongest Ultraman in the whole universe. If Waybig pick a fight with that dude, Noah could easily defeat him with a one punch since he's a god and Waybig is just a normal alien. You said that Waybig could beat any Ultra, right? Well, it seems like you never in that fandom for long and you only gained the facts to make Waybig look better. You should do a lot of research about Ultraman if you want to compare both of those series, not just give a fuck about that rip-off Ultraman that you called way too biggies. Come on, he's not even as tall as Ultraman Ginga. He can change his size from micro to infinity. Can Waybig do that? No, he can't because he only have limited power source. And one more thing, that old Ben 10 are just dead series now. The reboot version is more trash than the previous version. That's all, while Ultraman is getting better and better over the years, very popular around the world. Even Australia and the United States got their own Ultraman. Go search the name Ultraman Great and Ultraman Powered. You guys should be grateful that Subaraya Company gave your country any Ultraman to represent it. I don't even know where to begin here. Starting out, Waybig can change his size. He's been seen anywhere from 100 to like 250 feet, depending on what he needs to be. We've also seen Waybig small enough to fit inside of a book before, so yeah, he definitely can change his size. Also, for the second time, because I know I said it in the last video, Waybig is the perfected version of an Ultra. He has the same DNA, and the Omnitrix always turns its user into the absolute strongest version of that alien that it could possibly turn them into. And then he made one final comment here saying once again that I'm the childish one because I compare series with a small amount of facts and knowledge. That's a real Ben Shapiro comment and I can't fight against it. I bet all Ben 10 fans out there are getting effed up by the Ultra fandom because that thing Ben 10 shit has died. Do you hear me? Ben 10 has died and Ultraman will live on forever as long as Subaraya gained the authority to make a new series of Ultraman every year. So right there you just said that Ultraman has the potential to die eventually if Subaraya stops having the ability to make the series, so you just defeated your own argument. Also saying that the quality of Ultraman has gone up over the years and that they're the best now that they've ever been is quite subjective. Almost everybody I talk to on Twitter says that the Heisei era is where it peaked and the modern stuff is just children's stuff geared towards selling toys and not quality storytelling anymore. So I mean, it's all subjective. So go on and enjoy that shitty reboot version of that shit 10 series. For someone who claims to be a Ben 10 fan, you sure do trash on it a lot. It's not a glory Cartoon Network show anymore. It's a foolish comedy and useless kids cartoon. Kind of like the modern Ultraman stuff where they're flexing bullets off of their arms or dancing around like idiots. To end here, I'd like to talk about how Waybig is stronger one more time. Waybig is said to be strong enough to casually wipe out stars or even entire solar systems. He's born from a cosmic store and wields the power to harness and create cosmic storms, so Waybig is no joke. He's also been able to travel across the entire galaxy in like a day, so he can move pretty damn fast. He's been able to lift something heavier than the moon and then throw a kaiju his exact size into the sun, and that was a monster powerful enough to absorb the energy of a small star, and Waybig was able to beat it. Not to mention he took on a bunch of ultimate aliens at the same time who are all pretty much god tier, which makes him stronger than all of them. Waybig also has a bunch of beam attacks and has even used his beams to cause enough damage to destroy an entire planet instantly. This has happened on multiple occasions. Weibig once countered a cosmic beam which was able to destroy Pluto and he overpowered it. Weibig was able to destroy Malware who survived a planet's destruction, and Weibig's counterpart was able to use one of his beams to destroy an entire planet effortlessly. And Ultimate Weibig literally fought Cthulhu. Like, Cthulhu's an all-knowing, all-powerful god, interdimensional being with immeasurable power. Certainly Cthulhu's stronger than Ultraman Noah, who's just kind of like a strong Ultraman that was born of a supernova maybe, but maybe not, it's unknown. Ultraman Noah, the character who gets weaker every time he gets in a fight and has to revert into his low tier form, Ultraman the Next, or Ultraman Nexus. Weibig has never had to revert into a low tier form in a fight before. But anyways, Cthulhu was able to wipe out stars and galaxies effortlessly. Cthulhu, going by the name of Dagon in the Ben 10 timeline, was also able to survive being attacked by Ascalon, which was powerful enough to destroy an entire planet with a single slash. Now keep in mind that Ultimate Weibig took him on. Even though Ultimate Weibig didn't exactly win the fight, he went toe to toe with him and was able to hurt him, meaning he does more damage than a sword that blew up an entire planet. As for the argument that he could get sucked into a black hole or shrunk or whatever you were trying to say, aliens like Swampfire and Gravitac have survived black holes, and base Weibig is confirmed to be stronger than either of those aliens, meaning that Ultimate Weibig would definitely be stronger. Once again, I'd just like to say that Alien X created an entire universe basically on accident. He was able to do it with such minimal effort that if you really think someone like Ultraman Noah means anything to Ben 10, you're just kidding yourself.